So, yeah, Jenny can help us make sense of this. Because
Yeah,
Jenny
she's a
plays
tennis player.
So, I'll get us started, and then, because I want to see how up to the challenge you guys are, I'm going to step back until needed. Right, so, in tennis, for those of you who thinks they know like nothing about tennis, okay, so we all a little bit maybe. So, a lot of rectangles, right? The alleys or the gutters or whatever people call them, alleys. Alleys. I have a friend who called them gutters. I was like, dude, that's bowling. These are only used in doubles, so we're playing singles. So ignore those. The main court used for singles is 27 feet wide, given to you here. The net is 3 feet tall, but actually there's a tiny dip in the middle. So if you go across the middle of the net, your ball could be at the height of the net, and it would make it across. Because the strap in the middle does pull down on the net slightly. The service box where your ball has to land is 21 feet deep, if you want to say, because if you're hitting away from you. And your side of the court is 39 feet deep. So you're smart people, you could figure out how deep the back section of the court is. It's slightly smaller than the front. So, when you serve diagonally. Right, so if this is the center of my court, and it's the first serve of the game, I have to step to the right of that. I can be all the way to the edge of the court, or I can be all the way at this center line, but I got to be between the center, well, and they don't even show it. I got to be between the center line and that edge line, which I think to make this not complicated, they don't show. So if Karina decides she's going to serve from the right corner, she's going to serve across, so straight at Chris, right? So, straight at Chris. Now, when you serve the ball, you obviously don't like, you throw it up, and you hit the ball above your head. Diagonally, across the court. Here's where Karina wants to get the ball to land, because that is one of the best spots to try to get your opponent to not be able to return your serve. So the question is, Karina's struggling. She can't get this to work. Assuming Karina can hit the ball so hard that its path is linear, which means gravity doesn't have a chance to affect it because it's going so fast, from what height must the ball be hit to just clear the net? A lot of times you can get your opponent to like second guess, is it actually coming over or not? Or if it clips the net, that's actually really, have you ever had balls clip the net and make it over?
Oh, that's a lot.
Right. So, well, if you're in the middle of play, then it's allowed, it keeps going. Like if it makes it over.
On the first or second serve and it clips the net, then you have to do it.
So it's yeah, you get like a free redo. So if the ball just clears the net, we'll go ahead and just say that that's 3 feet. Because we'll say she's in the middle of the net, the strap pulls slightly down, I'm going to make your math easy. Say it should be 3 feet high when it clears the net, and it needs to hit that X right at the back. We'll say it's at the very end of the service box, so we'll give it the whole 21 feet, just to make your math easy. What height should the ball be when it's hit? That's your first pass. You can use this if you need. Well, this doesn't have anything to do with it right yet. But.
Oh, no.
Dude, there's like 4. The whole lesson is this one problem.
I just really, did they like expect you to just bring a tennis racket? I had a tennis racket for your children.
It doesn't say you need one, but I had like 6 in the base. That was from high school tennis.
Oh.
That's my racket. I have a nicer one, but I wasn't bringing that one here.
Oh, wait, one time I found it in a trash can. It was just a really bent up racket.
Oh,
It was
okay.
Answer.
Well,
So our mat, we're at on the area to
Sorry, say that again.
where can we go from?
She's at the corner over here. Going to the corner over here, so she's hitting diagonal. So, good question from Colin. We are, to make your math easy, we're saying she's at the line over here, hitting the entire diagonal distance across the court to the line over here. We'll say that's the path of the ball. And it's linear because we're being nice. really, gravity would probably have some effect. But if you hit it extremely fast and the ball is a little bit elastic, it might be able to travel linearly. Be an interesting test. How fast does it have to go to not arc? Slow mo guys.
So this is kind of like 3D-ish.
Mm-hmm. We are working in 3D.
I don't think it is 3D.
Well, we can work in 2 dimensions at a time, but the problem is 3-dimensional.
Either find the distance of that diagonal line. The solution is the diagonal or the track. So we work in 2 dimensions and the base and even like and side.
Okay, so
I would encourage grouping because even like just thinking out loud with each other, your ideas can help each other out.
so then we do that.
Because we have an angle.
Does her height matter for the first question we're trying to solve?
No, it's just where the volume line is here.
So that can be the base of our 3D. Wait, so these are the actual values. Yeah. So we want to find that time. So then we set that range there. We up. So we have 60. So 27. I forgot.
Oh, you can write in the book. That's okay. I mean, if it's pencil and it's lightning, do it.
You did that a lot in my book, but not your own.
I erased it.
Yeah, but still.
So okay, so usually I got square root of 130. And then that will be the base of our actual
What are you talking
height,
about?
like height.
I don't think then you're. I don't think that you're.
So like in that way,
It's gonna be hard for me to make sense of it if you want to. We'll do it 2 dimensions at a time.
so for the length of that diagonal, I got that is 4,329.
This is one of those situations where I think working with your peers might be really benefit to share ideas. I'm not going to be able to change ideas with you much because I already have an answer how I discuss it with bias. I don't want to think what she doesn't be able to work through this. I would really encourage some of this. She is right. Even neither of you move. Even if you just talk to each other. So is the distance that the ball travels from Karina's racket to the service box, even if we just look at the blue line, not the distance 3-dimensionally, but the distance across the court, is that 60?
It's like 65.795.
But this is 21 and that's 30. Why wouldn't it be 60?
Oh yeah, that's off of diagonal, like the diagonal.
Oh, so we need to calculate this.
Yeah, that was the number that I was.
Okay. What? Well, she is really far back. I agree. I agree.
To make it look nice.
So that's 60.
Yeah, it's definitely this side.
So this right here is the square root. So should we keep everything in exact form or can we approximate?
That's up to you.
Okay. Well,
Depends how exact of an answer you want. You can use decimals, but if you want to use decimals, I go 3 decimal places, at least for now, because we're kind of early in the problem. You don't want to start rounding too much off, because then your answer will be skewed.
okay.
I'm gonna put this one in there.
So right here, this, I'm working with length is, well, do you want to use the square root right here? What is this even supposed to be less than
I don't think that's correct.
how can I model?
Yeah, I think
Well, you have to assume that she's hitting it right above the corner.
no. This one's the hypotenuse. This one's the height.
That's why.
Well, I don't know, but I read.
Why do you need to
Do you think that's right?
You know, for fun.
This is not fun for Karina.
I mean, if she's able to do it some way that she can like put a mathematics equation like this complicated into her serve, I feel like she shouldn't be a tennis player. I feel like she should be a mathematician. If,
Whoa, do whatever, do what your
I'm
heart
just saying, if
desires.
she's able to do this, just like when she's bored, like, can you keep it hard and tight for me so that I can hit barely skim the top of the net and make it in the perfect spot, then I think she deserves like something for that.
Blue River Scholarship.
Yeah, sure.
Those are like big scholarships.
Athletes don't have to be smart. You can just deliver that.
What if she wants to be a smart ass?
So my drawing, not to scale at all, but the book asked us to have a bird's eye view drawing. A lot of us, I think, have already started solving this, which we know is more than 60.
Oh, I did that.
Oh, we might have. We got this.
What do you think it is?
Like the height that is.
This, the purple.
Oh, the purple.
You're way ahead if you got height already. Not way, but we got to get this first.
Oh, that's 60.7.
60.5. Any verifications? Let me just write.
65.7. Yeah, me too.
That's what I got.
Oh yeah, 65.
65.795.
Yeah.
Yeah.
65.
All right, so you guys might want to check your math. I'm hearing a lot of 65. Check your math, dudes. Yeah, Colin.
I figured something out.
Okay.
When the ball passes over the net from both of you, it's going to be about 9.45 feet from the bottom edge as we're looking at it.
So you're saying from here?
Wait, no. When it passes over the net, the Y on this graph is going to be 9.45.
So this, the blue.
Yeah.
So 9 point.
How do
Okay.
you figure that out?
Yeah. Yeah, that's. We.
Can you spell
That's-
this?
I got you. But you didn't already work, so can you remember? What do we have here? What do we see up here?
Triangle.
I guess something that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
when it passes over the net, it will be 39/60ths of the way along the X, which I went to convert to fraction decimal, which means 0.65 of the way, like 65% of the way there.
I got a simpler way to explain what you're doing. 2 words. Similar triangles.
Oh,
Way.
yeah.
Oh.
Because the net is parallel with the back line. Right, so this back line distance of 27, and this, and I haven't verified this 9.45, but this triangle is going to be similar to this triangle. Right, because the ball's path is linear, you got a straight line. So if we set up similar triangles, I can just check the math. That'd be easier than trying to check the answer. So I would just set up a proportion. We've got, I'd go part to whole, so 21 to 60 is x to 27.
Well, I thought that it would be then 14. Oh wait, 60. Oh.
Yeah, 9.45. Yep. So this is 9.45. Question is that pertinent?
Is that like the
Wait, how'd you get the 27 part of it? Like, I see where it is, but I don't see it.
Part to whole, so little to big, little to big.
Okay, thank you.
And there's 4 different ways to build that proportion if you want.
Well, I do.
Okay, so how'd you use that then? What are we going to do with the 9.45? Okay, because I love the idea of similar triangles, but I'm not sure if that's pertinent.
It can help us if we're figuring
Ethan?
It helps us define how far away the point where she wants to hit, how far away that is from the net when it passes over the net.
Because we can use trig, not trig, we can use Pythagorean theorem.
Okay. Now remember, this is bird's eye view. Really, when we go to answer the question, we're going to have to flip down to look
That's
in.
gonna be.
Okay.
It's gonna be like a triangle again, just weird.
But you can still make a triangle just from the point where it passes over the net to the point where it hits.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
if you just make that the line, then you can use Pythagorean
Wait,
theorem to figure out how
no,
long
hold
that
up,
part
hold
of the
up,
line
hold up.
is.
What?
Shouldn't we use 27 and 60 to figure out the, wait, we already have that. So then we know how long or how far the ball is gonna go. So can we use that in the, use that to help?
That's the 65.
So,
Yeah.
here's my
can we use
question.
that
That
on
65, is that distance from here to ground, or is that distance from here
the- It's that.
to there?
That way. From the ground to that way.
So that's not really hypotenuse then,
It's not.
is it?
No.
So wait, that 65 is leg? So I think I need another drawing.
Yeah. That's,
Mr. Hudson, what's the distance formula to find distance on a coordinate?
Oh, I'm not giving you that right now.
I
You
just
should
wanted-
know
learned
that.
about it
It's
last
Pythagorean,
Square
dude.
root of x1 plus x2 squared plus the square root of y1.
Look it up. If you need it, it's in the back of your book, I guarantee you. So wait. So we're really, if we flip down, I'm going to kind of try to make a three-dimensional view. So we're trying to solve the height. We know the distance across the court. Now you have to like get in my brain to understand what I'm looking at. We can redraw this if you want. Or you guys can draw on your paper. 65.795.
95.
So then this is actually
Oh, I see it.
our hypotenuse. And the net, we'll make it black. Now this is going to be difficult. Would be coming like across like here. Wow, don't do that.
Whoa, what's
Undo.
that?
Okay, have nice things.
You're absolutely right. So we know that this
2 feet.
is 3 feet, right? I'm drawing a perspective drawing.
I see it.
So I'm standing behind what's her face? Karina. Sorry.
Okay, I see.
So I'm behind Karina, looking at how high does this need to be? Because the ball's right here, and then it's going to go across the court diagonally away from us.
Can you draw like a big dot at the end of that?
No.
Wait,
Like a
are we standing in
Are we doing a bird's eye view?
No, now I'm doing a perspective drawing. You don't have to do a perspective drawing like this. I'm just drawing a right triangle in a weird way. We know a leg. We're trying to find the other leg. We also don't know our hypotenuse now because that's how
an
far
angle would be helpful.
the ball travels from the racket to the ground. That's our new hypotenuse, right? And we don't know that either.
Wait, hold up. You said it's similar. You said it's similar triangles. So if we say, no, if we scroll back down, then the 3 feet is parallel to the height of the ball that it needs to hit. So
Yeah, these are parallel.
yeah. So if we can figure out the distance between the net and the corner, then we can figure out height.
You're saying you want to figure out this distance,
Yeah.
which is why I scrolled up here.
That's what Christopher and I did. We just put the wrong number in it.
Then we can use the Pythagorean theorem to figure that out.
So, everybody with us for a moment. You're totally on the right track. We know the blue line in this drawing, which is the purple line in this drawing. We're at the diagonal distance across the court. We also know these, which won't matter as soon as I flip to my perspective drawing, because those are the edge lines of the court. So, this, and I'm bad at drawing. This is perspective looking at the back of the court to go diagonally across it. I wish I was a better drawer to be able to see this. I think my net is a little screwy. The angle of my net should be different. But we know that so the green is the path of my ball. The actual path of my ball. Don't worry. If we can determine what this is, then we know this is 3.
It's the square root of 530.3025.
And to figure out what that is, we have to solve this little hypotenuse. Does that make sense? Because this is where the ball is right above the net. This is where the ball hits the ground.
So I got
Okay, so
23.028.
Verify 23.028.
yeah.
So let's label it up here. Whatever you guys draw on your paper to make sense of this, you don't have to draw like a perspective drawing. You could just draw this as a right triangle, leg, green as hypotenuse. I know it looks wrong. Right now it looks like blue's longest, but that's because I was trying to kind of visualize and look at it.
So then,
It might help me read this.
so then if we take the scale between 21 and 39, then we can multiply that by 3 to get to height, right? Not
Maybe so. I gotta hear what you said again. So to fill in what we just found out,
Wait.
this right is the 21. What did you find for the last one?
23.028.
23.028.
Wait, that's not 21 though.
It shouldn't be 21. It should be 23.028.
Okay. It's making sense. I'm confusing myself.
We find that she has the last step, right?
And then,
We now have leg and leg, right? Because this is our hypotenuse. This is coming up off the ground.
oh, okay. Can you go back to the picture up there?
So to draw this in another way, I should really go to a new page, but I want this to be blank. Here's the level of our court. Here's the height we're trying to solve. Here's the path of the ball. But this is diagonal across the court. That path of the ball that we found was 65. Something. How long is the path of the ball?
So then this is
65.79.
So then this over here is 42.767, and this is 23.028. How does that help us? Wait, so then
Taking a few more minutes to work with each other. Think it through.
these lengths, I don't know.
It's because we have a lot of different drawings from a lot of different angles.
And don't-
Work on your paper for a
no.
minute.
Is
Quit
this
try-
a 2D thing?
This is now 2D from beside the court. Looking at it happen just. So this is the court. This is ball path.
Okay. So this is like.
This is the height of the ball when hit. This is net. Hits the court. I'm going to try to draw this
Oh,
again.
I need to find it. Okay.
Oh, I had it up until there.
Wow.
What's on your racket?
Jenny,
It looks like you threw the racket.
Jenny,
The piece of it detached from
that's not the point.
What?
She threw
That
the
my racket?
No,
Oh.
yeah, it looks like the racket that you drew.
Her arms are just short.
Yeah, and
She's
the racket
she's
looks
just
like
like
you
you
threw
throw
the
the racket in
She's
the
a me
air.
from
Okay.
And you throw the ball in the air and you throw the racket at it.
Oh, that's how.
You're basically dog. Why don't you just make your arms longer?
But then
True
it
that.
bounced 10 feet in the air.
Make the arm longer so it actually makes sense.
God, you made her.
I see the 3D perspective.
I do
Wow.
too. Whoa, I'm so happy.
Wow.
Oh, it's purple.
Whoa. I want purple.
Remember that? I forgot about that kind of.
All right. So this might make a bit more sense, except where the net is not in the right place. This, like in layers, this where it crosses the net, wherever you want to say that is, that we know is 3. We solved the distance across the court, right? That was like 65 point 795. I feel like you guys keep changing. There's 0 to 8 also. It's getting goofed up. And then we solved what else? We also solved
3D one.
23.028. Where's that go? That's the diagonal distance from the net, but that's the ground distance, right? That 23.028 is distance across the ground. So we have both legs, don't we?
I think I might have gotten.
Of a small triangle.
I think I'm almost.
I think I'm almost
I
there.
think I got it. Oh, and then
I
so
know.
if you
Wait, I need just another minute. I'm almost there.
wait. So if you take 65.795, subtract 23.028 from that, that would be the distance from where she hits it to the net.
Right.
What I did was 65.7. Wait. Shoot, I'm not even. Give me a second. I think I screwed something up.
Wait, Ethan, what did you get as the answer?
I'm not sure that that's
I think I'm on the final step.
I
I'm
think I
almost there.
got it.
Question. Well, couldn't we just do the ratio of the whole to the part and then use that on the height?
Very similar triangles, right?
Yeah.
Ask what you said again, or say what you asked again.
Couldn't we just do the ratio of the part to the whole and then and that would be the same ratio of the partial height to the full? I know that's what I'm doing right now. I'm almost there, and it's just
Oh, I did it.
You don't have to solve the things that you don't know that don't matter.
I just didn't know.
Just solve the things that you don't know that do matter.
I was just.
The only thing you care about is the height of this triangle, right back here at baseline. And we know the height where it crosses the net. You know the distance across the ground there. You know the distance across the ground here. Set up a proportion. Parts.
Is it 29.8? Exactly what
The ball's gonna be 29 feet up.
I don't think so. But I don't know.
I have that.
So if we do part to whole relationships, part to whole, right, and then part to whole.
23, and 65. That's the whole thing.
By the way,
Yeah.
65 was
We
the
were
whole
so
line.
close.
Because this was 60.
We were so close.
And this was another right triangle that, in perspective, looks weird.
Oh god, I can't. It's stressing me out. I got
we just did a rounding
sense.
mistake. That's it.
It made no sense. It makes no sense now.
Okay, so let's be approximate for a minute. 20 to 60. What's it do? 20 to 60, triple, right? About 23 to 65, a little under triple, right? Because we'd be looking for almost 70. So almost triple. What do you think it's going to be approximately? Close to 9?
It's 8.5712.
Oh, that's 8.552. So
Absolutely.
Yay, we got it!
I decided to actually find the
Now.
the purple one.
We have about 4 minutes. Here's the real challenge.
What? Stop. Stop, please.
Oh,
I was
children.
okay, so
What's that angle?
That angle is 7.42.
Okay.
Oh wait, is that really?
That was the real question, is at what angle must she hit the ball? Well, so height leads us to angle, but
Is
so,
that really that
so
hard?
there's another question that we have to answer along the way. Would it make sense that, would she be able to get to that height? So we'll get
Yeah,
there in a
jump.
second. Hold on, so theta, Jenny, you said you have theta?
Okay, so it's
Okay.
at 7.4224.
Angle of elevation then, if you're looking from there. How could we figure out if it would make sense for her to be able to hit the ball at that height?
Jump. Do it yourself.
You have to hit it and then get it.
Well, also you can compare the height together to see like how big of a difference they have.
That's really
How tall are you?
I don't know.
Oh, I can see why the tennis racket can help because you can see how long the tennis racket is compared to your height.
Yeah.
and your
Karena's 5'7".
That's not that hard.
Anyone 5'7"?
I'm like,
Ethan is.
Yeah, it's like 6 and a half.
He's taller than that.
I
like,
was
You're
you're
5'7"?
I was close to that.
No? No.
No, you want to know what the
Right
height
there.
of
Right there, over
a
there.
tennis racket
Okay,
is.
Yeah, we do need to find the
He
tennis
did
racket
close enough.
because you can use the height of the tennis
Let's
racket
go.
plus your
I
actual
like
height
Hit form.
to use the math from there.
honestly not close.
I like 3.5.
I like 2 inches off.
Yeah.
But
At
at any rate, you like.
How tall is
Oh, I'm taller. Yeah, but I mean, if you go like that, and then you
I'm
like
1K.
if you were to do this, I think like,
Everyone jumps in.
I know.
So, everybody jumps when they serve anyways, a little bit.
Yes, a little bit.
No, I like.
Yeah, the jumper.
The real way to serve.
Are you 5'7"? Oh my god.
I will.
Jenny, are you the way to serve?
Oh, hi there.
She would have to jump 2 feet.
So,
She'd have to jump like.
10.
Yeah, she'd have to jump like 2 feet.
So wait, it needs to
About
be
1.5.
about 8.5 feet up.
Because
Oh wait, but if your arm, if you raise your arm above your head, that's already like another 1.5 foot. So she doesn't have to jump.
Well, wingspan's half straight. No, wingspan equals half.
So wait,
Oh, yeah.
is the net? Give me a question. Is the racket only gonna add to your height from here?
No, yeah,
Your arm.
it's gonna be like another here, and you're gonna like another foot.
Yeah, I know.
Well, it depends.
That's
'cause
another
wingspan-
foot.
So wait, how long was the racket?
Like a little over 2 feet.
Like 2 feet. And if your arm probably gives you like an extra, I don't know, foot. I guess you got like an extra 3.
Then that's already like
Wait, how long is
7
the
feet.
racket?
So that's 3 feet.
I think it's how long is the racket?
3 feet on top of 5'7".
Ew.
Hey, grab a seat. Grab a seat real quick.
Well,
That's
I
completely
think-
reasonable.
Yeah, I think it's
wait, no, because 3 feet on top of 5'7"
That's
is
the
the
height.
height.
So this was
Ten.
Yeah, that's completely reasonable.
But with the jump, then she's gonna be
Wait,
right
wait.
All right. To wrap it all up.
5'7" plus 3 feet.
To wrap it all up. Using a whole lot of triangles, right? We figured out that the ball would need to be a minimum, really, because lower than that, she's going to hit the net, a minimum of 8.5 feet in the air, right? 8.57.
But then you just hit it in the
And When we raise our hand above our head, we're going to gain some height there, which we approximated to be about a foot. The racket is slightly over 2 feet, but considering that you hold it, we'll take away the slightly over and say that's about 2 feet. So we're going to gain about how much above her head?
Like 3 feet.
About 3 feet, and we assume a little hop could get her to 3 feet. We add 3 feet to her height.
That's already 8.
Can she reach?
Yeah.
Yeah. But she would not jump.
Well, it wouldn't necessarily have to, but even if you jump, you could just hit the ball in a different place, right? Because you don't want to hit up here.
Yeah.
You got to hit on the right.
Pretty.
So, thank you very much, Karina. We'll go to college on a tennis scholarship. Thanks to you perfecting her.
You're gonna be out of chaos.
Have a good day, guys. Work on the homework, and let me know tomorrow if there's any questions.
It's great for like a second. Because we got her into college for tennis thing, we should get paid.
Yes. We get all of her loans.
We get all of her tennis trophies.
No. We get all of
So we
her
sell them for a lot of
our
money.
money that she pays to get into college. Oh wait, I forgot.
College gets that.
I didn't
We'll
hear
take
that.
that money.
But we deserve the money. Yeah, we get the money.
Hey, thanks for dealing with my really bad drawings. I appreciate that.
They were better for mine.
Oh yeah, much.
I know were your favorite class ever.
Yeah.
Much
I need
better.
to see your practice going on. And you what?